Well, today I'm in San Marino, and it's a country, if you didn't know that. It's a very small country, hidden inside of Italy. There's the flag. And it is basically a fort on a hill with some villages surrounding it. And that's what we're gonna go look at today. It's got an interesting history, so I'll definitely be reading that as I walk along and try to share that with you guys. Literally everywhere on the old town part of the country. It's basically just a city, like the size of a city. Everywhere in the old town part is extremely picturesque and very beautiful though. This is just a walkway into the town pretty much. And this was the area directly across from me when I was taking that. Goes from there. Well, my first stop here in San Marino is going to be eating some ice cream, some gelato, some might say. So one of the two ways to get up here that I'm aware of, at least, is via this gondola directly behind me and the road. I took a taxi up here from Rimini, so I used the road. But this gondola is definitively a valid option right here. And I'll show you what it looks like looking down it. So the place has basically become a giant mall now. The old city is like a big outdoor shopping mall. But directly behind me at this restaurant, all the staff is wearing shirts that look like the In-N-Out logo, but it says in or out. So there you go. Some, what is it called? Stealing somebody's copyright emblem, whatever that's called. I can't emphasize enough how beautiful everything is up here. Just any random spot you stop to look around, and it is very, very nice. And obviously, it comes with this view that I've shown multiple times now from this same side, but I am trying to work towards the other side for you. We find ourselves yet again at another beautiful thing, but this one, people are going inside. I think it might be a church, I'm not sure. We will find out. So, this building isn't necessarily one of the oldest, but this country, which it definitively is, fact check me on that one, was actually given independence, or got independence rather, from the Roman Empire in the year 301 after the death of Jesus Christ. So, it is a very old place. So when you see things like this, they aren't like in America or in a lot of Western Europe, copying a sort of Roman style. This is Italy. No, not really, but here, let me cut that because I can't say this is Italy. So they're not copying like a Roman tradition, but it is very much the tradition of this nation. It is very much the culture that they established separately and independently post-Rome. So directly behind me, over here, over there, is the city of Rimini. That's where I stayed in Italy last night. So from this spot here on top of this mountain, we can actually see the geographic extent of this entire country, and in that direction too. We can see where the country ends from here. Now, I'm not an expert, so I can't sit here and go do and draw out the line for you. But definitively, within this shot, you can see the end of the country, start of the next. Also, we see the Adriatic from here, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's amazing. It's a tiny country. One thing, as I was reading the history that I didn't really think about was I play a lot of video games, map games, and in those, for a large part of history, the Papal States, what is now the Vatican City, owned all the way up to here, over there somewhere. They owned all that land, which means this country used to be an enclave, like it is now of Italy, of the Papal States, which is now also an enclave of Italy. So, times are changing. Now they're both enclaves. One used to be an enclave of the other. So, at one point, what I read on Wikipedia, so take that as you will, they actually even had their independence guaranteed by the Papal States. So, a different enclave now of Italy guaranteed the independence of this country. And I wonder if that's still valid. I wonder if somebody were to violate the neutrality of San Marino, would the Vatican step in? Would they send the Swiss Guard? All right, I just read some more history just now, and it's about to get spicy. The history of San Marino is about to get real interesting. So in World War I, it was actually neutral. Didn't side with the Axis, didn't side with the Central Powers, didn't side with the Allies, or the Entente, if you will. But the Italians, being Italian, they didn't like that. They saw it as an affront to them. So they cut, in a vindictive manner, they cut the telephone lines of the country, and they tried to put police here, but were not allowed. They were rejected. And they also cut relations with them. So they pretty much screwed this country over in the First World War for being neutral. Shows you how far being neutral will get you. I think Ukraine is learning that lesson now. It's probably not always the option. Sometimes it's better to align with the lesser of two evils, if you will. Another interesting tidbit was during the Second World War, it was once again a neutral country. But, the British are not one to respect a fellow country's neutrality when it comes to the Second World War. Same as Germans. I'm not trying to paint the Germans in the good light here. They also, arguably, respected less countries' neutrality, definitively. But the British bombed this place, mistakenly believing that there was German soldiers here, which at the time there weren't. Later on, there would be though. Later on, Germans would come and occupy this place, and there would even be a battle of San Marino. So behind me is the first guard tower, the original fortifications of San Marino, built in 1253. They've been here a long time. They've been upgraded and improved since, but this is it. This is where it started. The whole hill fort thing here. Mountain fort. This is a mountain, I think. Well, post-World War II, Italy found itself rather disillusioned with fascism. In a lot of places, sort of conservative values in general. But here in San Marino, that also carried over. They were also disillusioned with sort of right-wing movements. And in fact, San Marino was the first ever democratically elected communist government on Earth, is what their Wikipedia says. So, there you go. The start of elected communism, right here. You're welcome, Bernie Sanders. But I think the only place that has democratically elected communism right now on a national level is Nepal. So you're welcome, Nepal, for real. Well, we paid our entrance fee to get into the first tower, and while I was waiting, I read some more interesting history. So during the wars of Italian unification, Giuseppe Garibaldi actually was given refuge here. He was able to hang out in San Marino while being persecuted for trying to unite the peninsula. And as a favor to San Marino for doing that for him, he actually let them stay independent and actually would sign a friendship accord with them because of it. So they owe their independence to supporting Italian unification, interestingly enough. Sorry, quick correction. Not necessarily supporting, abetting, I should say. Another small interesting fact about the Republic of San Marino is they actually gave citizenship to Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president of the United States. And he was very honored by that. He wrote a response saying thank you, and that San Marino is proof that a republic can stand, etc. So this is sort of a look down into the areas that we've been walking through so far. We were over there, over here, and down there for different scenes of this. But this is the main fortification. This is the old town. And then somewhere out here, the country does end. I just don't know where exactly. Well, I'll say this for the San Marinese. They certainly have a great location for a fortification, because you can see off in every direction. If somebody's trying to invade you from the sea, well, on a good day you can see it. You can see off for miles because of the elevation. So it really is a perfect place for a fort, which explains why it is one of two places in Italy that were able to keep their independence. And actually, arguably, it's the only one, because the Papal States actually ceased to exist for quite some time. But I believe it was re-given sovereignty by Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator of Italy. So there you go. That might explain why the Pope prayed for German victory over communism in the East. And later on, a Hitler Youth member would serve as the Pope himself. So, I noticed in the border area coming into San Marino from Italy, I don't know which country it's actually in, but there's a long line of dilapidated buildings, and it looks like they're all pretty much abandoned, falling apart. So it looks like they're all pretty much falling apart. And I don't know what that's from. If anybody does know, if anybody's local to the area or knows the history of what happened there, it's not old buildings. It's very new, very modern looking buildings that are all pretty much abandoned. I don't know if that's a COVID thing, if that's what, but it is there, and it's different. It's very different from up here on the top of the fortress, old city, very beautiful place. It's like an it's like an ancient mall, although not all of it's ancient. Most of it's not ancient. Another beautiful view of San Marino. In 1302, a lot of these small communities that we see right here in front of us would have been added to San Marino, not originally part of the country, but that was the last time the borders of San Marino would change, would be 1302. After that, Napoleon would actually offer to extend the country's borders when he came around. They luckily had a regent of the country who was able to go and befriend Napoleon and guarantee the independence of this place. And because he liked him so much, he said he would extend the borders as San Marino needed. And they basically were afraid that the Italians would come knocking to get their lands back post-Napoleon, or at some point in the future. So they basically just said, thanks, no thanks, we're not going to extend, but we will stay independent. Thank you very much. So the early history of San Marino is basically a holy man from, he lived in Croatia at the time. Saint Marinus came to Rimini, and then eventually up here to this area where he would found a chapel, and that was the start of the country, or what would become the country, I should say. They got their independence from Rome in the year 301 AD, after the death of Jesus Christ. So it is in fact the oldest sovereign state on earth. This is the oldest country in the world. It's seen Rome, it's seen Napoleon, it's seen the Nazis all come through, and it's survived, it's overcome, and it's still here, looking beautiful. I came on a Sunday, and from what I can see, there's pretty much no bus services that run on a Sunday. I actually took a taxi up here, and I don't know if that is maybe why this place isn't overrun with tourists right now, but it definitely isn't as crowded as I would have expected it to be. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that it's not like super crowded. Well, I don't think there's anything more I can really add to this historical and beautiful city. So, final view before I head out. I only really checked out the tourist part of the city. I didn't really go to the like the villages and stuff that surround it. So there's more to see in San Marino, but this is the main attraction. I enjoyed it a lot. Beautiful, beautiful country. Arguably the most scenic country I've ever been to because it's very small and everything seems very picturesque. Even down on the ground level, you got this beautiful castle to look up to. So, great country. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye. And if you're interested, definitely come check it out. It's a little out of the way, but worth visiting.